Today is Thursday, June 6th, aka D-Day. We'll tell you how the world is commemorating a day that changed history forever with some of the last few surviving heroes. Also, what we know right now about giant flying spiders moving across parts of the U.S. Plus, another milestone reached in space travel, a vegetable recall that's made people sick in much of the U.S., and what to watch as teams battle for championships in a couple different sports. Those stories and even more news next. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. Today marks exactly 80 years since the beginning of the end of World War II. It was June 6, 1944, when more than 150,000 Allied troops stormed French beaches to fight the Nazis in World War II. It was the largest invasion of land and water in history. Many historians consider it the single most important day in the 20th century and a huge turning point in the war. So today, about 200 surviving World War II veterans and their families are getting together in Normandy, France. They'll be honored at dozens of events. They'll also pay tribute to those who died helping bring peace and freedom to 1940s Europe, and wish for peace in today's Europe, too. With many of the veterans now in their 100s, this is likely to be the last major ceremony in Normandy honoring them in person. They'll be joined by world leaders, including President Biden, Britain's King Charles, and the leaders of France, Germany, Canada, and Ukraine. Of course, a lot of the focus will also be on wars still happening right now, like the one in the Middle East. Even though ceasefire talks are ongoing, the war in Gaza is showing no signs of slowing down. In fact, Israel says it's launched a new operation from both the ground and the sky in central Gaza this week. And with that, the Israeli military says it's eliminated several Hamas militants, though Gaza health officials say dozens of others have also been killed, including women and children. Meanwhile, the U.S. State Department says it's incredibly concerned about the risk of escalation at Israel's border with Lebanon. Just yesterday, at least 10 people were hurt in northern Israel when the militant group Hezbollah in Lebanon launched a drone attack. Though Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said his country is, quote, prepared for very intense action. Also yesterday, there was an attempted attack at the U.S. Embassy in Beirut. A gunman hurt an embassy security guard, but he was eventually shot and captured by Lebanese soldiers before he could do more damage. No American personnel were hurt. The gunman and 5 other people were arrested in connection with this shooting. It's not clear what motivated the attack, but U.S. officials say the gunman had ISIS written on his clothing. An investigation is still underway, and the embassy is set to reopen today. A new report says Israel is using social media and artificial intelligence to try to get more Americans on its side. The New York Times cites sources and documents that apparently show the Israeli government organized and paid for a secret influence campaign targeting American lawmakers and civilians. Specifically, the report says Israel hired a political marketing firm for about $2 million to carry out the scheme. At its peak, it reportedly used hundreds of fake accounts posing as real Americans on X, Facebook, Instagram, and Reddit to post pro-Israel comments. The Times says the AI chatbot ChatGPT was also used to generate a lot of the posts. Plus, the campaign created 3 fake English-language news sites featuring pro-Israeli articles. Both Meta and OpenAI, which makes ChatGPT, also confirmed they found and disrupted this operation, though the Israeli government says it was not involved. During another day in court, President Biden's son's personal life was in the spotlight. As you know, Hunter Biden is accused of illegally buying and owning a weapon while abusing drugs back in 2018. And yesterday at his trial, a jury heard testimony from his ex-wife, his ex-girlfriend, and the Delaware gun shop salesman who sold him the gun. Biden's ex-wife spoke about his long battle with addiction and how his drug use and infidelity led to the collapse of their marriage. Next up was the woman Hunter Biden was dating in 2018, the same year he bought the gun. She said he was on crack cocaine almost all the time when they were together, despite multiple attempts to get clean. But in cross-examination, the defense team pointed out that none of it proves the president's son was actually using drugs on the day he bought the gun, and that at that exact time, the women did not speak with their client. The day ended with testimony from the salesman who said Biden did not have any questions about the forms that asked about drug use when he bought the gun. He's expected to be cross-examined today before more witnesses are called to the stand. If Hunter Biden is found guilty, he could face up to 25 years in prison and fines of up to $750,000. Though he's pleading not guilty. To be continued. The world has now marked a full year of back-to-back heat records. The European Union's Copernicus Climate Change Service says when you look at global average temperatures, last month was the hottest May ever recorded. That's the 12th straight month of record warm temperatures for the planet. Of course, it's not exactly surprising at this point to hear about the Earth getting hotter these days, but this uninterrupted run of all-time temperature records is actually unusual. Scientists say a lot of it has to do with climate change, but there are likely other factors at play too, like El Niño, volcanic eruptions, solar activity from the sun, and more. Some of those factors could come and go, giving Earth at least some temporary relief from heat, though it likely won't be anytime soon. Heat waves have already been common this month too, everywhere from Asia to Central America, and now in the southwestern U.S. More news still ahead, but first, thanks to our sponsor, Honeylove. I used to care more about style and look than comfort, but not anymore. Now I don't have to choose because Honeylove offers everything you need to feel super confident and great. For example, I choose to wear Honeylove's Legging 2.0 pretty much every time I go into my closet for so much of what I do. Work from home, run errands, work out, go to the park, you name it, and I'm choosing Honeylove's Legging 2.0. In fact, I just got compliments on them over the weekend and caught myself telling my friend all about them and then apologizing that I actually sound like an ad in real life, but I really do love wearing them. And it's not just leggings. All of Honeylove's items, from leggings to shapewear to bras and more, are designed to be comfortable, functional, and make you look and feel great. Honeylove is not just supporting women, it's empowering women. Treat yourself to the best bras, leggings, and more on the market and save 20% at honeylove.com/newsworthy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off at honeylove.com/newsworthy and find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they might ask you where you heard about them, so please support our show and tell them we sent you. You deserve this. Free the pain and discomfort and keep the support with Honeylove. Now back to the news. It took several tries, but Boeing has finally reached its goal of launching humans into space. The company's Starliner space capsule lifted off from Cape Canaveral yesterday with 2 NASA astronauts on board, and it reached orbit just a few minutes later. Today, they're expected to reach the International Space Station. It was actually the 3rd launch attempt in the last month, since the last 2 had to be called off for a few different issues. And there have been years of delays and stumbles leading up to this point. Now that the issues do seem to have been resolved, Boeing is finally on track to catch up with SpaceX. Remember, NASA partnered with both Boeing and SpaceX to shuttle astronauts to the ISS after the space shuttle retired in 2011. SpaceX has flown 9 missions for NASA already and another 4 private flights. This is Boeing's first. Now, NASA's plan is to alternate between Boeing and SpaceX, at least until the ISS is out of commission. More and more people are reporting getting sick from a salmonella outbreak that could be linked to cucumbers. The FDA and CDC are investigating at least 162 illnesses in 25 states. Among those cases, dozens of people have ended up in the hospital. And the health agencies say it's possible cucumbers are also to blame for a separate salmonella outbreak that sickened nearly 160 others. The cucumbers were first recalled last week by the Florida-based brand Fresh Start Produce. They were sent to stores as well as food service distributors. Cucumbers being sold in stores now are not part of the recall, but if you happen to still have some of the recalled ones, perhaps in the freezer, the CDC says to throw them away and wash anything they may have touched. You can check out a link in our episode notes for more specifics, like which states they were shipped to and other information. Some retail stores are trying new tactics to prevent shoplifting. Some employees at TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and HomeGoods are now wearing body cameras similar to the ones police officers wear. Though the store's parent company says video footage is only shared if law enforcement requests it. The CFO told Wall Street analysts it's really more about de-escalation, since people are less likely to break the law if they know they're being recorded. And other stores have similar ideas. A recent National Retail Federation survey found more than a third of retailers are at least researching body cams for workers. Some are experimenting with other shoplifting prevention methods too. For example, certain supermarkets have banned large bags. Others are investing in artificial intelligence-driven surveillance and similar technologies. Others are just deciding to close certain high-theft locations altogether. The NBA playoffs are down to their last 2 teams. The Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics will be facing off for the finals tonight. And there's a lot of star power on these teams. Jason Tatum will be leading the Celtics, and Luka Doncic is hoping to bring it home for the Mavericks. A couple of other big stars are going to be playing against their old teams, too, like Mavericks player Kyrie Irving, who was a major force on the Celtics, and Celtics player Kristaps Porzingis was considered a valuable player for the Mavs. But now they're facing off against each other. At this point, the Celtics are heavily favored. During the regular season, Boston and Dallas met twice, and the Celtics won both times. But of course, anything can happen. You can watch all the NBA Finals games on ABC or ESPN. By the way, hockey is down to its last couple of teams, too. The Stanley Cup Finals kick off on Saturday with the Edmonton Oilers going up against the Florida Panthers. And the Panthers are the opening favorite. That series will also be available to watch on ABC. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Thing to Know Thursday. But first, I want to take a moment to talk about our sponsor, Hiya Health. One easy way that I found to make sure my kiddo is getting the nutrition he needs is with Hiya's children's vitamins. In fact, even before they became a sponsor, their best-selling children's vitamins are the exact vitamins that I've been giving him already. Why? Well, while most children's vitamins seem basically like candy in disguise, I chose Hiya because they have zero sugar and zero gummy junk, and are instead a pediatrician-approved chewable vitamin that my son seriously looks forward to having every morning. Honestly, if he's in a bad mood in the morning, saying it's time for his Hiya vitamin always makes him smile and get really excited. And I love knowing that Hiya fills in the most common gaps in modern children's diets to provide that full-body nourishment my boy needs. It's non-GMO, vegan, dairy-free, allergy-free, and more. I also recommend checking out the Kids Probiotic. My son takes that one too and loves it. We've worked out a special deal with Hiya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you must go to hiyahealth.com/newsworthy. This deal is not available on the regular website. Go to Hiya, Hiya, health, HEALTH.com/newsworthy and get your kids the full-body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. Okay, now back to Thing to Know Thursday. So if you live on the East Coast, you may have heard some talk about new unwanted pests making the rounds this summer. They're called Joro spiders. They've been spreading in the southeastern U.S. for a while now and are now starting to move into the Northeast. But they're different than other spiders. For starters, they can fly, sort of. They shoot threads into the air, still attached to their bodies, that can then be picked up by wind. They're also able to thrive in busy cities. Plus, they're bright yellow with black streaks and also giant with 4-inch legs. Pest control experts say they do tend to cause a lot of fear, but that Joro spider's venom is typically not deadly to humans. That said, getting bitten is not exactly pleasant either. It can apparently cause a lot of discomfort and some allergic reactions. Joro spiders are actually native to East Asia, and it's believed they were transported to the U.S. on a shipping container. People who see Joro spiders can call their local pest control services to exterminate them. All right, thank you so much for listening today and making us part of your daily routine. We'll catch you up with more news to know tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.